Psych of Human Relations, Chapter 7, Motivating Yourself and Others. So when we look at Chapter 7, the overarching question is what motivates people? And so by the end of the chapter, you should be able to understand the complex nature of motivation, influential theories of motivation, list and describe contemporary motivation strategies, identify motivating factors important to individuals from different generations, and then describe selected self-motivation strategies. So when we look at the complex nature of motivation, the thing to keep in mind is that all of us are motivated by differing things to varying degrees at different times. And so this is a very individualistic thing, and that makes it pretty complex. When we look at what do motives really do, is motives are the things that cause us to take action, and how likely we are to pursue it, and how intensely we do those. So when we look at the different types of motives, when we talk about psychology, there's physiological, the need for things that help us survive. Emotional motives, avoiding fear, avoiding uncomfortable situations, being drawn to people that we love or care about. There's cognitive, the way our beliefs and expectations and perceptions influence how likely we are to do or not do something. And then also the social influence, friends, family, what media tells us. So when we look at motivation, these are the 16 basic desires in the Reese profile. These really are no specific order, but when you really look at those, which 5 to 6 of those are most important to you? And what that kind of does is it also tells you a little bit about what your core values are. We tend to be motivated to do things that we care fairly deeply about, which tells us how much we value those things. And then it also helps us explain, kind of our pattern for our choices, the things that we avoid doing because we're not motivated to do them, and the things that we're drawn to do because we are motivated to do those things. When we look at characteristics of motives, again, we've already kind of addressed this. All different people have different needs, different values, different whatever, and those are going to influence what does or does not motivate us. The other thing is these things change throughout our lives. The things that are important to us, that we value, that motivate us from the time we're kindergarten to the time we're 60 is going to change. A lot of times these things are kind of hidden below the surface. We really aren't maybe fully aware of why. We just know that we're drawn to these things or that we are repelled by certain things. A lot of times you can, just by watching and observing and thinking about behaviors, you can start to kind of piece together what motives are, which is what inference is. And motives are hierarchical, which means that they vary in level of importance. There's things at the top that we're highly motivated by, and there's things at the bottom that we're not so motivated by. So when we look at some of the influential motivational theories, Maslow's hierarchy of needs is one. He says that those bottom ones, physiological, the need for food, water, shelter, takes priority first. Once those are met, then we worry about safety and security. Once those are met, then we worry about belonging and being part of a social group. If those are met, then we focus on our esteem. We focus on how we feel about ourselves. And then eventually we get to self-actualization, where if all those other needs are met, then we try and make ourselves the best version of ourselves as we can. So we look at ways of satisfying these individual needs in the workplace. And so what this chart does is it looks at those 5 levels of Maslow's hierarchy and how within the world of work those things are met. So for example, the physiologial needs are met by having pay. We get paid so we can buy groceries and we can pay rent. And so these are the different ways that theory applies to what happens in the workplace. The second influential theory is Herzberg's motivation maintenance two-factor theory. In other words, these two things are going to work in coordination together. So there's the maintenance factors. These are the things that people are wanting from their job. Salary. Do we get benefits? How is our supervisor or our manager? These things don't necessarily motivate us, but what can happen is if we aren't getting paid what we think we should, if the benefits aren't very good, if our supervisor is not very nice, or they can be cruel or mean or ineffectual, what that can do is it can cause people to leave and find a different job. Now, motivational factors, these are above and beyond just salary and benefits. Does this workplace appreciate me? Does this workplace match my values? Does this workplace give me a chance to better myself? And these tend to motivate and lead to greater productivity. So if we compare these two, motivational maintenance, then Maslow talks about self-actualization and esteem needs. Those are motivational factors, whereas maintenance factors are those others. So what this chart's trying to do is it's trying to show how these two theories can kind of work together and be very similar to each other. The third is the expectancy theory. What this theory basically says is that if we expect that we can be successful, then we're going to be motivated. And so perception is an important part of this. If we perceive that we are working someplace or doing something where we can achieve our goals and find success, we are more motivated to be there. Now, the other thing is there's a self-fulfilling prophecy within this, that you need to have this ability to have expectations and what you can achieve kind of match up to what's possible. And once you achieve those things, then you believe that everything's going the way that you want to go, and you're going to be more motivated to continue along that way. A fourth is McGregor's theory, the XY theory, and this deals more with managers. That there's two different types of supervisors and managers and bosses that you're going to work for. You have type X, which is pessimistic. They think that all workers are pretty much lazy, unambitious, that whenever they get the chance, they're going to slack off and not do what they're supposed to do. Therefore, as a manager, what you have to do is you have to constantly apply a carrot or a stick. You either need to put something out there in a carrot that will kind of nudge people to doing the things that they're supposed to do, or the stick where you can whack them with it to punish them for not doing the things that they're supposed to do. On the other hand, there's managers who are optimistic, who believe that when given the chance, workers are going to do all the things that they need to do to excel and make the company succeed, and that they can be given self-responsibility, and managers can kind of step away and let workers do what they do best. And those are two very different theories. And so if you think about this in terms of expectancy theory, you've got managers who expect that workers are lazy, so you have to punish them to make them work. And then you have managers who expect that workers are going to work extremely hard when given the opportunity. You just need to kind of give them their space, give them whatever workers need to be able to do that, and they're going to be very high performing. So when we look at all of these, a model of how goals can improve performance. The thing about goal setting is a lot of times people don't consider what they need to do to create good goals. Good goals, you need to be specific. They need to be kind of a little beyond where we currently are. So there has to be some challenge in reaching these goals. And you have to be participant in this. You have to really be involved in figuring this out. Goals are motivated by direct attention, encouraging effort, encouraging persistence. A workplace that's going to foster these goal attainment strategies and action plans. So basically, if a workplace is going to give you all the things you need to work towards your goal, you're going to have improved performance.